Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. I'm here at Alan's camera because I am about to unbox, sniff test, review, show you samples, compare the Nikon brand new 85 1.8 AFS. This is a G lens. Yeah, just came in. Lots of people are wanting this because it's an affordable 85 1.8. It's basically replacing the old 85, which I will break out here in a couple minutes to give you some comparisons. But first things first, before I get to sniffing it, you know, it surprised me that it wasn't nano-coated, and I talked to Nikon about that. I was just like, where's the nano-coating? But who knows if that would have been more expensive. So the point of this video is just to give you a rundown of the features of this lens and let you see sample images and make your own mind up whether this lens is for you, because you are able to download all of these images full res over on FroKnowsPhoto.com. So here we go, unboxing, sniff testing, recommendations, and then we'll move on from there. No, that smells like one of those rubber balloons made in Ecuador. That's an interesting one. So in the box, we've got the user's manual. Oh, that smell is awesome. Hi, I smell good. It smells good. You know what it smells like? You remember when He-Man came in like that plastic and cardboard container? It kind of gives me that He-Man smell, but maybe not even He-Man, maybe like Manny Arms or Man of War. What was that guy called? I don't remember what he was called. So we have plastic lens hood. We've got the 85 right here. Let's take this out, 85 1.8, and give you the features of it. So as we're looking at it, it's got the new back cap from Nikon. On the side here, we've got the manual and autofocus switch. It says Nikon AFS Nikkor 85 1.8G. Here's the front of it, looks good, boom. So who is this lens for? Well, it's anybody that doesn't want to spend $1,600 for the Nikon 85 1.4, or they don't want to spend $900 for the Sigma 85 1.4. Both fantastic lenses, but this is a great carry-around lens. If you're just starting out, you have a full-frame body, or if you have even DX lenses, this is going to be an awesome lens on there. It's going to be sharp, it's going to let in a lot of light, it's much smaller than some of the 1.4s, which are much heavier, so this is going to be great for traveling around and all of those good things. Oh, see in the back, it's made in China. It takes a 67mm filter. Personally, I'm not a filter fan, but if you like to protect your lenses, it's good to put a good piece of glass in front of this. Always put good filters in front of good pieces of glass. So let's put it up against, that's really it. It doesn't have much on there, but let me show you the old 85 1.8. The old 85 1.8 feels slightly heavier. It's a little more compact. As we put them down side by side, you can see the difference in size. The new 85 is much larger, and you can attribute that to the AFS. That's a silent wave motors inside. Now, I don't know if this is going to focus really, really fast, but crossing. Thanks, Rob. I don't know how fast this is going to focus. Some of the AFS lenses, like the 50 1.8 and the 50 1.4 AFS, weren't exactly uber-duper fast, but you know, keep in mind that this will work on any of your Nikon cameras, because if it doesn't have a motor in the camera, like your D3100, D5100, it will work with this lens in autofocus, whereas the old 85 wouldn't. But this is a heavier lens, feels much heavier. So let's give you a comparison of the front of that. It's much smaller, but it feels heavier. It's weird. So coming up right after this, we're going to do a comparison between all these lenses, do different tests, even put it up against the Nikon right here, 85 1.4 AFS, so you can get the sizes there, and we will move on from there, and we will be right back. So here we have all of the lenses lined up. We've got the 85 1.8 AFD from Nikon, the 85 1.8 AFS, 85 1.4 AFS, the old 85 1.4 AFD, and the Sigma 85 1.4. Do they have yeah, this is the hypersonic motors one. Hypersonic motors, yeah! Hypersonic motors of the world unite. Yeah, why doesn't Nikon have something like hypersonic? They've got silent wave motor. It's kind of like motor scooter. But anyway, besides that, you can see the comparison of what the size differences are between these lenses. We know that between the 85 1.8 and the 85 1.8, the new one, you can see that the old one is much smaller. Obviously, going up to a 1.4, you're going to let in a lot more light. Now, I will say, well, let a lot more light in, which means it has more glass. In the terms of the size, it looks to be almost the same size as the old 85 1.4 from Nikon. So you can see that right here, that they are similar in size. Now, they're not similar in weight, as the 1.4 is slightly heavier than the new AFG 85 1.8 AFG lens. So yeah, that's your comparison in terms of size. Now what I want to get to is an actual photo comparison. I'm going to set up and take photos with the old AFD, the new AFS lens, and probably compare it with a couple of shots against the 1.4 so that you can see the similar differences that you're going to get between, maybe not the similar differences. We're going to see what we get. So remember that all the photos will be up on FroKnowsPhoto.com in full res. I'm going to put the JPEG that are edited from the RAW file because, you know, I shoot RAW, and you can get the long sleeve shirt. These are now up in the store, but you know, we're going to see what those look like. You can then make your own mind up. I'm not a big fan of shooting charts. I'm going to do some kind of setup here that's more real world, and you can get a feeling based on those files which lens you like the most. And if you want to decide that it's for you, you could always call Alan and they will help you out, figure out whichever one that you want to get. So let's go and do that right now. Now it's time to look at the sample images that we got from the 85 1.8 AFS. Compare it to the 85 1.8 AFD, which is a much older lens. And just for fun, we threw in there the Nikon 85 1.4 AFS. So we're going to move over to the screen and we're going to start to look at these sample images, put them side by side, and let you make your own decisions on what you think, if these are, you know, which lens is for you, if there's a difference between them. Keep in mind that you can download all of these unedited JPEG files. Basically, they're RAW files, and I'm going to export them to JPEGs, not making any corrections because I don't want to change any of the images to make one look sharper than the other. These are just the RAW files as they came into the camera, and you'll be able to look at the unedited JPEGs on FroKnowsPhoto.com to make your own mind up, and to pixel peep if that's what you would like to do. Now, for the future, I hope to create a better controlled situation where I have a better setup, different types of examples to take photos of, and I'll probably bring in some external lights to make everything a little bit more consistent from review to review to review. So what we're looking at here on the screen are all of the lenses that are in the 85 range that I put out on the counter. We've got the Sigma 85 1.4 right here. We've got the Nikon 85 1.4 AFD, which is there. We've got the Nikon 85 1.4 AFS G, the brand new 85 1.8 AFS, and the older 85 AFD. You can see the size differences here that we talked about a little earlier. You've got, you know, basically the new 85 is almost the same size as the 85 1.4, the AFD version. So that's kind of interesting to look at. So let's move on to the first sample images. So here we're looking at let me go into the develop module real quick. And so what we're going to do right now is you're going to look at the 85 1.8 AFS. We're going to run it through from 1.8 all the way through to F16. So we're going to work it there, see how the images change from the sharpness from 1.8 all the way to 16, and then we'll do the same for the other lenses that are there and then put them side by side and see what looks better. So here we have our basic setup. We've got the FroKnowsPhoto logo in here, and we are going to just go through it. We've got the 1.8 followed by the 2, then I jump to 2.5, 2.8, F4, and you can watch as the background starts to show up and come in and be less bokeh-y. F8, F11, and here is your F16. So for those of you guys who are looking to look at the corners and pixel peep, you can see the sharpness here at F16. The R strap is nice and sharp, the Fro pick and all of that. And then going back to 1.8, as we look in the corners, I don't see any vignetting. Everything looks pretty good to me. I'm not a huge pixel peeper fan, but everything looks pretty good to me. And this is just a cool lens in this price range. So then we've got the 85 1.8 AFD right here, and instead of going through the whole setup again, the whole row and the whole lineup, let's just put the 1.8s next to each other and see how they look. So I'm hitting the N key to compare them. I am then putting them side by side here, and then we're going to zoom in right here on the Fro, and you can instantly see a major difference. Look how much sharper the newer lens is, the AFS, compared to the AFD. It just looks hazy, it looks blown away. Down here in the FroKnowsPhoto.com, it doesn't really look, you know, sharp at 1.8 with the older lens, whereas with the new lens, it looks really, really sharp and looks incredibly well all the way around the image at 1.8. So that's a great thing to look at. So let's turn all of these off. We'll go back to F16. Hold on, let me hit the end button again. So we've got F16 here. Let's just make sure. Yep, there's the 16. And we'll put it up next to the other F16 from the older lens. Oops. That button followed by that button puts them side by side. I have to hit the side by side button. There we go. You know, everything looks pretty similar on this. This one still looks slightly sharper on the left-hand side. 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 3. Yep. So the 85 1.8 AFS is on the left side. On the right side, we've got the D, the older version. And even at 16, it looks a little cleaner in the hair here on this sample. And as we look around the image, you can look at the R in the R strap. It looks like it's just more vibrant. These are shot at the same exact shutter speed, same aperture, on the tripod, and you can just see the difference in the color, the raw color, coming out of one file to the other file. So that's pretty cool right there. So I'm going to go back. I want to do one more comparison. Let's take the 1.8 and let's go put it against, well, let's just show you what 1.4 would look like with the 85 1.4 AFS. Do that, do that. So there you can see the 1.4. We can zoom in and you can make a judgment here. I mean, we know that the 85 1.4 AFS is really, really sharp. I'm just curious as why, you know, the underside of the card is coming up here more so than it is coming up here. I don't know if that has to do with the exposure or anything, but you know, you can just take a look and see the difference in the colors that are coming into each file. One with the 85 1.4 AFS and then the 1.8 over here. I did one other test that I almost forgot to put in the video. That's why I'm cutting it in here. And it's a close-up focusing test to show you how close I could actually get while focusing basically the 85 1.8 AFS and the AFD. And you will see the difference right here. What you're looking at right now is the 85 1.8 AFS. And you can see that I'm pretty close. Everything looks pretty damn sharp. And I was hand holding this at 1.8, 5000 ISO, not that any of that matters, but I'm just giving you a representation of what the background looks like. Now, we'll work right through this. There you go, 2.8, 4, 5, 6, 8, 11, and 6, and 11. Where's my 16? There's 16, there's 8. I must have missed 11 somehow. Don't know how, don't know why. But then, look at this. This is with the 85 1.8 AFD, the older lens. You can focus closer with the newer one. You can see that pretty, you know, evident right there just by looking at that. So, you know, that is just one other thing that I wanted to add here. You can see how much better the newer lens looks. You know, you can focus closer. It's sharper. It's cleaner. It's a nice lens. And now back to the end of the video. So all of these files are going to be up on FroKnowsPhoto.com for you to download and take a look at. Now, who is this lens for, and should you consider getting the 85 1.4 AFS over the 85 1.8? Now, I think it's a no-brainer that the AFS 1.8 is better than the AFD. We see that. So for the $100 more or whatever it's going to cost, go with the newer lens. Now there's a huge difference when it comes to the 85 1.4 compared to the 1.8 in terms of price. One is like, what, there's a $1,200 difference or so between the two. Can you justify the $1,200 difference? If you're just out there shooting around, I don't think you'll ever really notice a difference between the two. One is much lighter than the other. I personally would go with an 85 1.4 for the type of work that I am doing if I wanted to go with the older one. The newer AFS. I currently have the older 1.4 AFS. One thing I didn't do, AFD, not AFS. One thing that I didn't really pay too much attention to this time that I need to in the future is focus speed. How did the focus work? Now I did, it wasn't blazing fast. And I know that just from playing with it quickly, that it wasn't blazing fast. And with the AFS, that doesn't mean that it's going to be extremely fast every time. You've got the silent wave motor, which means it's going to be silent and then focus with all of the older Nikon cameras, that not older, but the ones that don't have the focusing motor. So, here's who it's for. If you are, on any DX body, I'd stay with an 85 1.8, the brand new one, and save the money over the AFS. If you are a working full-time pro, shooting weddings, getting paid a lot of money, then I'd go with the 1.4 because you can afford it. And, I think the colors are going to be better personally. But it's a heavier lens, it's more expensive, and that's really it. So I'll leave it up to you guys to make a decision on what you think is the best lens of them for yourself, but that is a quick, not even a quick review or preview or review, whatever you want to call it, of the Nikon 85 1.8 AFS brand new lens. If you're interested and you're in the United States, definitely give Alan's Camera a call. Check out allenscamera.com, do a search for that lens, and if they have it in stock, you can definitely pick one up. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next lens review. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. Please sign up on FroKnowsPhoto.com for the email list, basically the Fro list, where you will be notified of all the different information that's coming out from time to time. And just for signing up, you will get a free photography guide to capturing motion in low light situation. So go ahead and do that. You will get that in your email, and be sure to add us on Facebook, Twitter, and you can subscribe on YouTube and add us on Google+.